Alright, so this is my Vibe Yellowfin 120. It's rigged up the way I have it when I launch. We'll start here at the back. This is the Vibe gravity rudder, and the Bixpy is attached. The rudder is actually made for the Bixpy to go on it. This is the deploy line, and you'll notice that there is a carabiner here, and there are two on the rudder lines. This is modified. So normally you would run the cable through the plastic here. I pulled it back a little bit and reinforced it. So now when it turns, it can actually get its full range of motion to either side. And also, because I cannot travel with this motor attached, it's not heavy, but it's 2 pounds that would be bouncing on the road. So if you unclip these 3 carabiners, the rudder comes right off, as long as the cable is disconnected from the battery. Battery comes off as well. It's got a bungee here that I usually clip to here. 2 little bungees that I put in here that clip there. Normally when you get this Vibe, the bungee line, it actually uses these little clips, which I had taken off, and I got these cam jams. These are great. You run any rope through it and then tighten it, and then you have a carabiner that's adjustable. So they zigzag their bungee all the way across down to here. I made it into essentially a doubled up trapezoid. You'll see, so each one's clipped here, one's clipped here, and they wrap all the way around. And that means they're out of the way when I drop the milk crate in, and then I just pull one up here. I don't even do this side. I have a couple carabiners on the front, and it clips in there. And then here I just pull it over a rod holder. Now this thing is not really going anywhere. Both flips, it's held in enough. All right, next, so here's one of the Yak Attack or Yak Gear Yak Attack roto grips. Most people use them as paddle holders, but I put one of these tarp bungees on the bottom of it so it can flip over, and it holds a rod good. See, the one problem with this kayak is it has no horizontal rod storage. And what I noticed, I actually started with using the flush mounts that are here, and I have, if you come to the other side, you'll see I have rod holders attached to the crate. I actually had 3, and I was holding all 4 rods pointing up. And after being on enough rivers and close to the shore, having to get a lure back, stuff like that, it's just it's much nicer to be able to store everything horizontally. So what's cool about this is it looks like it's far back from the seat, but when you're sitting there, it's really easy to see and reach back and unclip it and clip it. So if I am not going to use it for a little while, or when I'm loading out, I can put the tip on the inside of the forward rod holder, and it's pretty snug. But if I'm like fishing and just putting it temporarily, I can pop it in here and then leave it on the other side. The tip will come out on this side, and it'll sit, it'll be secure out of the way, and I can still grab it quickly. I'll put it on the inside most of the time when I'm not using it. So here's the seat. These are risers made by Mark Lyde. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He's on Facebook, and he custom makes these seat risers for Vibe kayaks. It gives you like a good 3 inches on the front, which is really all you need. You sit a little higher up, and then another big bonus is that you have room under the seat for storage that you really don't when the seat is in its bottom position. The seat on this kayak is not adjustable height-wise, so it's really nice to have that. The seat's comfortable, but I still added one of those cheap Walmart cushions, just a couple of those ball bungees holding it to the rail back here, so it doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it's flappy, but it doesn't matter because you're sitting on it. They include a bungee here that's supposed to go up and over this and clip down here. The problem is that when the seat's up, it's too tight. So I just put one of these balls on, and I actually wrap it right around the Bixpy remote, which is this. This is nice, and if you have it oriented in this direction, so faster, slower, so you just push forward to go forward, and then here to slow it down, stop it, and it's all remote, which is super nice. All right, so I have 2 rod holders. I think this is a Yak Gear or Yak Attack, Yak Gear Omega, one of those. I like this one. I don't like this one as much. This is the Railblazer ram mount. It's not as, like, you can't tilt it up and down because it has notches. So it's sort of set. So what I did was I figured out where I liked it, and the rod was still pointing down a little bit. So all I did was I cut up a little piece of like towel, and then I taped it in there. So it doesn't interfere with anything, but it keeps the rod from going up a little higher and pointing even more down. So it keeps it right where I want it, and that pretty much, that same little mod worked for all the rods I have. They have this rubber thing that goes over here to secure your rod. I took it off because it's annoying, but it left these little nubs, so I covered those with tape because line kept getting caught on them. I also made sure, the reason this one's on the left is because line would always get caught on this, so now that's out of the way. You're never going to eliminate stuff like that completely, but it's good to plan ahead for stuff like that because your line will get caught. So here is one of those rare earth magnets. It's not secured or anything. It can come right off. It's actually held in by magnets on the inside of the hull. The 2 on the inside, which is pretty strong. So this can come off. But the cool thing is when I'm changing out lures, especially stuff with trebles, I can just drop it right there and it snaps in and doesn't get lost and doesn't get under my feet or somewhere where I'm going to step on it or get hurt. Those treble hooks are nasty. So here's the fish finder. It's a basic Garmin Striker 4. So the Vibe kayaks come with a spot here with 4 M6 screw holes, which is cool, but I needed a custom mount. So you'll see this is the mount that comes with the Garmin. This is a piece of cutting board that I just put holes in and attach the mount to that. So if I take these 4 screws out, this whole thing can come out if I need to, but I usually don't need to. So the transducer is actually mounted. If you take this off, take this bag out. I don't know if we'll be able to see. Nope, can't see. But inside there is a block of duck seal, which is it's like a putty, but it doesn't harden. So it comes in a block of £1 and it's cheap. It's like $3 or $4. It's nice. You take half of that block, you sort of mold it into a pancake, a thick pancake. Put it in the hull on the bottom. Make sure there's no bubbles in it, so it's compressed well. And then you take your transducer and you shove it into the duck seal and push it in and make sure it's squeezed in there nice. And then around the transducer cable up through here, little grommet, a little wire, I don't know what you call it. The wire goes through there. There's siliconed and super glued, so water can't get in. I take the fish finder off when I'm traveling, pop it on, transducer cable goes right in. There are a lot of different ways you can do batteries for these things. A lot of people have some pretty complicated setups. Mine is really, really, really simple. It's essentially the same kind of battery that you get for a phone, except this one can do 12 volts. I took the wire for the power wire for the fish finder, and I spliced it to the power cable that they include with the battery. So far, I have used this a number of times, and I haven't managed to use more than one of the 4 battery bars. And it's not a big battery. I think it's 10,000 milliamp hours. So, and I usually go out for 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. So I expect that really I could probably go 2, maybe even 3 trips without charging the battery. I charge it every time, but that's just something to consider. So when you get the rudder, so here's the Bixpy with the rudder. Here is the release. It's just this ball. You pull it out of this locking thing, let go, and the rudder drops. That works well. The line that they give you with so first I ordered the regular Vibe rudder kit. The line they give you with the Deploy is not very thick, so I changed it out with a little bit of a thicker line that still fits through the guides. And the other thing that they do is they send you, so you have these foot pedals that come with the boat, and then they give you toe pedals that go on, they attach to the back here, and they sit up here, and you attach your rudder cable to those toe clips, or toe pedals. And what happens is these pedals stay where they are, and then the toe clips move back and forth, and that's how you control your rudder. Well, what I noticed is that the toe clip that's here, it bends like this before engaging because it's flexible plastic. So the whole thing is mushy. And the other thing was that they don't move very far. So you don't get good range of motion on the rudder. So you don't really get the full turn radius. So all I did was, and this is basically already set up for it, there's usually 2 little things that lock into the holes here, and they pop right out. Take those out, and then I ran the rudder line directly to this pedal. So you'll notice I also put some silicone on the track so it slides a little better. You'll notice that this pedal now moves, so if you see the rudder, you just push these pedals. So when it's straight, that's right where I like to keep my feet. So if I keep it straight and even, and I'm paddling, that's a good brace. And I can still use the rudder even with the motor off. It really works well. Some people have reported a rudder being sluggish with the Bixpy attached. After I did this, it's still smooth even with the Bixpy off, not running. I can still paddle and use the rudder like normal, which is nice. Another thing I added, this is really simple. It's just a cam strap, but they're nice because they're strong. They're strong straps. Wrapped it up a little bit, made a handle. It has a piece of Velcro on it, so I could attach it somewhere, but I end up just leaving it where it is. But this strap is good because you can hold on to it at your seat and use it to stand up. Get a little extra leverage when you're standing. We have 2 anchor trolleys, one on each. There's one on this side, and there's another one on the other side. Now that I have the Bixpy, I'm not anchoring as much, so I don't know that I would have put 2 on, but it's nice to have them. And the other thing that's useful is I have this pole. This is a 3/4 inch PVC pipe with a 1/2 inch wooden dowel inside. I think it's 2 wooden dowels because they're 4 feet, and I made this about 7 feet. Spray painted it black. So one of the wood dowels actually extends this far out of the PVC. And then this is JB Weld that I just, mixed up and scraped on there. And that makes this tip much, much harder than wood. I've stuck it in rocks and pretty hard bottoms and banged it around, and it hasn't even cracked. I mean, it's a little blunted at the end, but this pole is really, really useful. When you're in shallow water and you want to anchor, you just stick it in the ground, and that's the beginning and the end of it. I'm always trying to condense. I honestly would love to get rid of this crate, but I tried doing another horizontal rod here, and it was just sort of in the way. It seems like I need one side clear. This boat's not really set up well for the horizontal rod storage. I showed you the one on the other side. That works well, but if I absolutely need to, I can take this rod down, lay it down, or hold it in front of me, and I can get through areas that have trees. I could always bring one less rod, but 4 seems to be the right number for me because I bring one with a spinnerbait, one with a jig, one with a worm, and one that I has a clip on it so I can change out cranks and jerks and stuff. I know I'm probably not always using the right rod for the right thing, but it's close enough, and I can, from one spot, I can fish 4 different ways and, you know, see what's working for the fish, and that works great. So this crate that I set up, it does have 2 compartments. This is the top compartment. Fish grips. This is a towel with a piece of Velcro on it, just in case I need a towel. Oh, here's the battery for my phone that I was looking for. Shouldn't be in there. Backup sunglasses, hooks and weights. This is actually how you turn the Bixpy on. It's pretty cool. It's a leash that you're supposed to attach to yourself, and you put the magnet on, and the Bixpy turns on. So that way, if it's like a dead man switch, if you fall off, this gets pulled off, and the motor shuts off. So, pretty cool idea. That's the top compartment. Bottom compartment. 2 tackle boxes seems to cover just about everything I need. This is a cover for the Garmin. I do have an anchor with an anchor system and a first aid kit. Every single thing that is on this kayak has been used and has been useful. So it's hard for me to condense anything else at this point. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really impressed by the quality of the kayak, the speed of the Yellowfin. The amount of room I have really seems perfect. They have a Tankwell up here that's covered here, so you could really pack some stuff in there for camping if you need to. It's not dry, but you can use a dry bag to keep your stuff protected. And I mean, there's plenty of room here for my crate and the Bixpy battery. And even if I have to use a cart to get down to the water, I can strap my cart right up here over the battery and have plenty of room. So that's pretty much it.